was wrapped.
Now, you mentioned that the arguments between Mr. Depp and Ms. Heard increased after they returned from Australia. What arguments do you recall specifically?
One in particular stands out. March 23rd, a couple weeks after they got back, there was an incident in penthouse 5 that I recall.
And when did you start your shift that day?
11 p.m. was typically my start time.
And where were you on your shift?
So at the loft, there was kind of a makeshift command post, CP, or guard shack, or whatever it's called, that was in a storage room connected to penthouse 5 via a patio. So you'd leave penthouse 5, go to a patio, and then our CP was connected to that patio. That's typically where we hang out during our shifts.
And what time were you first contacted by Mr. Depp that evening?
Again, I can't say precisely, but between 4 and probably around 4 a.m., 4:30 maybe.
And what did you do after Mr. Depp contacted you?
So when he texted me, and I was downstairs. I don't remember exactly what I was doing, either getting some air, stretching my legs, or grabbing some food. But I remember getting the text. I wasn't in the CP when I got the text. He requested I meet him at penthouse 5 and requested that I bring the nurse, his nurse that was working at that time with him.
What was her name?
Debbie Lloyd.
Okay. And so what did you go get Miss Lloyd?
I did. So Miss Lloyd was staying at a hotel close by, probably about a half block away. And being that I was already down there, I felt 4 in the morning, I wasn't gonna, and Mr. Depp wouldn't have wanted me to have her walk by herself. But I wasn't gonna go get the truck either, since I was down there already. So I walked over to the hotel. I believe I called the nurse just to make sure she woke up. And then I walked to the hotel and I met her there. We walked over together to the Eastern Columbia building. In the lobby, we ran into Miss Heard. She was at the front desk talking to security or concierge, I'm not sure who. Miss Lloyd stayed downstairs with Miss Heard. I proceeded upstairs to meet Mr. Depp at penthouse 5 as requested. Was hoping to get him out of there before Miss Heard came back up, just because of past.
Sorry, why was that?
Just because past experiences, when they would argue, she would try to prevent us from leaving. To the point, I mean, she's held the elevator before. She's physically tried to keep Mr. Depp from leaving by grabbing his arm or standing in front of him. I just wanted to get out of there to avoid that.
And what happened when you got upstairs to the penthouse?
So Mr. Depp was sitting in front of the front door of Penthouse 5. I greeted, he had some bags, I believe, like he was ready to go. I greeted him, kind of got a feel for what was going on, tried to get him out of there. As we were getting ready to leave, Miss Heard and Miss Lloyd exited the elevator on the penthouse level, so they came back up, and Mr. Depp and Miss Heard decided they wanted to continue whatever conversation they were having. So I let them into Penthouse 5. Myself, Miss Lloyd, Mr. Depp, and Miss Heard entered Penthouse 5. I tried to stay out of their conversations as long as they were peaceful. So they were having a relatively peaceful conversation. So Miss Lloyd and I stood outside the door of Penthouse 5, had the door propped open to make sure we could hear what was going on, but kind of giving them their space initially.
And you said initially, what happened after that?
So the conversation got a little louder, got a little more volatile. So Miss Lloyd and myself entered Penthouse 5 just to be around, to hopefully be able to not necessarily mediate, but just to be there. So yeah, entered, stood a little closer to Mr. Depp.
And what did you observe when you went back into the penthouse?
So the argument continued. There were moments of kind of normal conversation, peaceful conversation, but then there were also moments of yelling and anger from both of them. And at some point I witnessed Miss Heard throw a Red Bull can. So the loft is 3 levels. Mr. Depp was down at the lower level, which is the kitchen area. There's a middle level, which was turned into an office for Miss Heard. And then the upper level was where the bedrooms were, but they were turned into closets, basically, for Miss Heard at that time. Miss Heard and her sister at that time, Whitney, had come in. They were both on the middle level, the office level. And I saw Miss Heard throw a Red Bull can from her position that struck Mr. Depp in the back.
Anything else that you recall?
At that point, I moved closer to Mr. Depp. I didn't care that I was in the middle of their conversation at that point. I didn't want my client getting hit with anything else. So I stood right by Mr. Depp. The verbal onslaught continued from both of them. Mr. Depp was giving as good as he got at that point. He was angry and agitated. At one point, Miss Heard threw something else, either a purse or some sort of bag or something that she had up there. I was able to knock it away so it didn't hit him. At one point, she spit at him. Yeah, and then just a lot of verbal vitriol from both of them.
What do you remember Ms. Heard saying to Mr. Depp on this occasion?
Jeez. Anything and everything. Specifically, there was the "you're fucking washed up," "you're a fucking cunt," which he called her as well. you're, again, the deadbeat dad shit. Yeah, I don't even remember what the fight was about, but it was pretty. The F word is my favorite word, and it was being thrown around to the point where I was uncomfortable. So.
And how did Mr. Depp respond to Ms. Heard's behavior?
Oh, he was mad. He was upset, especially after she tried to spit on him. At one point, Miss Heard and her sister left penthouse 5. I imagine they went into penthouse 4 or possibly over to penthouse 3. I don't know. They were all adjoining. Mr. Depp went upstairs and rearranged her closet for her. Threw down probably every rack of clothing and shoes. Threw at least one down the stairs. Yeah, he was upset.
Where was Ms. Heard when Mr. Depp rearranged her closet, as you said?
Can't say for sure, but she was not in penthouse 5. She was either in 4 or 3.
And you mentioned Ms. Heard's sister, Whitney. Do you recall when she arrived in the evening?
So Whitney wasn't there when we first all walked into penthouse 5. When Miss Lloyd and I stepped out to give them some space, she must have, excuse me, she must have come in at some point because she was in there when we walked back in.
Did you see Ms. Heard again that evening after Mr. Depp was in her closet?
I did, yeah. She must have heard what was going on and not been too pleased. So she shortly after re-entered penthouse 5 as I was trying to get Mr. Depp out of there.
And what happened at that point?
So her and her sister both came back in. We were on the middle level, so her office level of penthouse 5 at that point. She was agitated. Mr. Depp was agitated. I felt it was time to get Mr. Depp out of the situation, so I stepped in between Miss Heard and Mr. Depp, telling Mr. Depp that we were leaving and that it wasn't up to him anymore. At that point, out of the corner of my eye, I saw a fist and an arm come across my right shoulder, and I heard and saw a closed fist contact Mr. Depp in the left side of his face.
And whose fist was that?
That was Miss Heard's fist, Amber Heard's fist.
And where was Whitney when this occurred?
Can't say for sure, but I'm guessing, or my best guess is behind Amber.
How did Mr. Depp respond when he was punched?
The initial look on his face kind of mirrored mine, kind of a look of shock, like what just happened, where'd that come from? At that point, I wasn't going to let Mr. Depp get hit anymore, so I moved him down the last flight of stairs to the lower level, and told him we're leaving. It wasn't up to him anymore, just for his safety. I didn't. Again, I had let him get hit by a Red Bull can. I let him get punched. my job is to ensure the safety and well-being of my clients, and I felt like I hadn't done that. So it was my time to do my job and get him out of there.
And so